Remove damp and moisture from your home with 5 simple tips. Let's get into it. If you're dealing with damp and moisture in your home and in your investment properties like I have been, then here are some 5 easy tips for you to help you reduce and help even remove damp and moisture altogether. Let's get into it. And you're really going to want to watch till the end because I'm going to have a really good tip as to how to remove it and help prevent it from coming back totally. So I'm going to share with you a couple of tips that I've been implementing and using in one of my investment properties. We've had a bout of damp and moisture in there, and this is just a quick way, easy, simple steps that I've found that's actually reduced that. So firstly, we're going to do a bit of troubleshooting. So we're going to try and do the usual. So try and just make sure that your property or the property that the tenant's in is well ventilated, that windows are cracked open from time to time to get air in so that air can circulate the building and just help the property to breathe. This is going to help with things, I mean, moisture's in the air regardless of what anyway, because obviously we're taking showers in there, hot showers in our properties, baths, cooking, even breathing is going to actually just make moisture and damp build up. And obviously here in the UK we have a lot of really cold weather snaps, so when it is really cold outside and when that meets the warmth from inside, that can generally cause condensation and things like that on windows and things like that, which can eventually lead to there being damp in the property, and for a long period of time you can get black mold and build up and things like that, which is not great for anyone. And obviously if you've got tenants in your properties, you have a duty of care as a landlord to make sure that you mitigate against mold build up, because mold can really cause some serious, severe problems. First tip is to make sure that the areas are being well ventilated where possible, because obviously, as I said, most of the time here in the UK it is cold, and obviously tenants, they want to be keeping as much warm air in the building as possible, because obviously it costs more to heat when you're letting the heat escape. So where possible, just make sure that your tenants are opening windows periodically to get air circulating and moving around the property. It's a free thing that they can do that can just make sure that there's air circulating in the property to help prevent against this. Tip 2 is just to make sure that all leaks and everything like that is all taken care of properly. There's no gaps or leaks in the guttering, because if there are gaps and leaks in the guttering, then that just means that the rainwater that's being collected off the roof will then go down and it's going to get a chance to hit the brickwork, and when it hits the brickwork it's going to cause a penetrating damp, and then we're getting damp in the property. So make sure that you've got no leaky roofs or any other leaks, and plumbing, everything like that has got no leaks whatsoever. Your roofs are all watertight, and all your guttering and everything, as I've said, is all watertight and it's not leaking. So obviously if you do have a leak in your gutter, and as I've said before, if the rainwater now has a chance to hit your brickwork, and that's happening over and over, it's going to give chance for the rainwater to then seep into the brickwork, and if there's any failing mortar or anything like that, or it's going to get in there. And then, as I've said earlier on in the video, we have cold weather snaps in the UK, so if it gets cold and if it freezes, then when water freezes it expands, so as it will just freeze, get into the brickwork, get into mortar, it will freeze, it'll expand, and it will do this again and again over time, which then would cause serious problems, because then it's going to cause your brickwork and your mortar to fail, and that's going to be a big job to fix later on. That will lead to penetrating damp in your external walls, and you'll eventually see it on the inside of the property. And as investors, we really don't want this. We want to reduce our cost as much as possible. And by the way, if you are an investor and you are looking for a good mortgage deal, just even looking to spruce up your finances, you can use Unbiased. They're a really, really good service to use. They're basically almost like a matchmaking service for your finances, and my link is in the description box below. If you go through that link, you'll get your first consultation for free. It is an affiliate link, so guys, I do make a small commission, so it's a good way for you to support the channel, so thank you if you do use that link. Another great tip to kind of get all of that excess moisture out of the air within the property, which is going to build up to and cause damp within the property, is to have dehumidifiers. I do put free dehumidifiers in all of my properties anyway, just for the tenants to use, because I have a lot of flats, so you've got a smaller space where tenants will be potentially drying clothes, and as I said, just cooking, generally showering, using water, and just the moisture will just build up in the air. So what I tend to do is pop a dehumidifier dehumidifier in the property for my tenants anyway, for them to use and in all of my investment properties. And another tip is to make sure that all your windows, your doors, everything like that is all sealed properly, and making sure that you are checking those seals on a regular basis to make sure that they haven't failed, because that's another way for moisture to get into the property, and again it's going to cause damp, which is what we don't want. This also helps to make the property a little bit more energy efficient, because obviously then the heat's not escaping through these gaps as well. So guys, I'll pop a bit of footage in here for you, but in my recent property we've gone back, we were waiting for some nicer weather so that we could go back and paint the outside and make sure that got weather sealant paint, so that, and to treat it for penetrating damp and stuff like that. But we were waiting for a good long spell of good weather so that the outside could get painted and could dry and everything in enough time. So what we've done is just gone back out, they have prepped the outside, so they've scraped out all of the old mortar, they've scraped away all of the old paint and everything like that, and all exposed everything, and then repointed up all of the brickwork so that that's not failing. They've also put a sealant on there, a weather sealant, to again help stop against rainwater getting into the nooks and the cracks and things like that as well. And then they've put a good amount of weather seal paint on there as well, just to seal and to make sure the outside of the building is weatherproof. And we've also got at the bottom, we've got a couple of courses, probably about 6 or so courses of bitumen paint as well, and this again acts to prevent damp from getting into the property. And another great tip, and this is something that I am literally going to be doing now as well, is to put a PIV unit in. So that's a positive input vent unit, and that will literally force and it will push around the property so that air is always circulating around the property, and then push all of that bad air back out. So it draws air from outside, pushes it around the inside of the property, and then pushes all that back outside as well. So it's a really, really good way of removing the moisture. And again, we want to be getting as much excess moisture out of the property as possible, because that is what's going to lead up to the damp, and the damp is what's going to lead to the mold. These are things that I am looking to retrofit to a lot of my properties, because from speaking to other investors, they've put them in their properties and they've said any moisture, mold and damp issues or comments or complaints from their tenants have literally stopped overnight since they've put those in. This is something that we'll be retrofitting. Again, I'll document that on this channel. Yeah, I think it's a big cost to put up front. I think it's something like £450 or something plus VAT for the unit that I'm looking at, but that's the one that is included. It's got a heating element as well, so it's going to not just, as I've said before, here in the UK it can be quite cold. It's not going to push cold air around the inside of the property, it's going to push warm air around the inside of the building. And again, it's just helping me as a landlord make sure that I'm actually another step to looking after my tenants that are in the properties. And this is the bonus point that I was sort of speaking about earlier on in the video. So this is the bonus tip. I have actually been reviewing all of my maintenance processes, and I've actually created these sort of home user guides / sort of tenant guides, so that it just stays from the outset the roles and responsibilities, so what I'm going to be doing and what the tenant's going to be doing as well. So it just builds on the government's how to rent guide, and it just sort of sets out processes for how to deal with emergencies, how to report repairs and just things like that. And it also it's got a section that deals with damp as well, so it just tells the tenant what they can do to prevent damp in the property as well. So that is a good way of sort of mitigating against that, because if people don't know, they don't know. And obviously as a landlord, we're not wanting to tell the tenant how to live. We are here to give little tips and advice on how to prevent and reduce and mitigate against damp. What I'll do is I will do more videos in the future on what I'm actually putting in place for my maintenance processes and things in the future. And if you're interested in sort of having maybe me doing a mock-up or a template that's available for you guys as well, just let me know in the comments. Just pop maintenance in the comments and that will just let me know to roll that out to you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.